All right, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in this vast world you may or may not happen to be. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayers Live and my page by page reading and commentary of the modern English version of the Bible. So today we're going to go back into the book of Judges, chapter 3. And so far, this book of the Bible is pretty interesting. It seems to be a lot about war and how basically the Lord wasn't very happy with the people that He'd chosen as His people and how they have been conducting themselves. That seems to be a theme throughout the Old Testament. Sometimes I enjoy that theme because I feel like saying, "That's right, God. You tell them off." But other times, it's very disenchanting and disappointing when it comes to the reality of human nature and the lack of gratitude a lot of people have, the lack of appreciation. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that there's been many times in my life that I haven't been grateful or appreciative of quite a few of the blessings that I have, but especially nowadays, I try not to be that way. So let's go ahead and get started. On a personal note, I'm a little tired today, but then again, I did two workouts today. In the morning, I did a little weight training, and then in the afternoon, I allowed myself to create a bit of a public spectacle by working out alongside 1980s era. Maybe it was 90s era, Jane Fonda. I think it was 80s though. And it was fun. I'm trying really hard nowadays to slim down substantially when it comes to my midsection. I want to gain more muscle tone and whatnot, more muscle in general. And, you know, just get myself where I want to be, to where when I look in the mirror, I think to myself, wow, I look amazing. Instead of looking in the mirror and thinking, I guess I look all right. It's not really about vanity at this stage. It's just about me feeling good about myself. So I'm working on myself. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. The book of Judges, chapter 3. Now these are the nations that the Lord left to test those in Israel who had not experienced war in Canaan, so that later generations of the Israelites who did not know war before might know it, to teach them how to fight. And that's important, knowing how to fight. Sometimes you forget, and sometimes you forget what's important to fight for, but I know I'm remembering. The 5 Philistine lords, all the Canaanites, the Sidonians, and the Hivites living on Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon to Lebo Hamath. They were to test Israel in order to know if they would obey the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. The Israelites lived among the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. They took their daughters for themselves as wives, and gave their own daughters to their sons, and served their gods. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention. I actually thought the book of Judges was pretty exciting because, once again, you had the presence of some divine beings, angels, appearing before the people. And what really strikes me as interesting throughout the Old Testament of the Bible is how it doesn't seem like the people, maybe they were excited about it, but it just doesn't seem like they were so awestruck by it. I mean, that is that would be something amazing to witness, actual angels. All right, Othniel. The Israelites did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. They forgot the Lord their God and served the Baals and the Asherahs. The anger of the Lord burned against Israel. He sold them into the hands of Cushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. The Israelites served Cushan Rishathaim for 8 years. Then the Israelites cried out to the Lord, and the Lord raised up a deliverer in order to save the Israelites, Othniel, son of Kenaz, the younger brother of Caleb. The Spirit of the Lord came on him, and he judged Israel. He went out to battle, and the Lord gave Cushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hands, so that Othniel overpowered Cushan Rishathaim. I have a hard time saying that. Rishathaim. The land rested 40 years. Then Othniel, son of Kenaz, died. Wow, just that one little bit of the Bible is about Othniel, but I would like to know more about Othniel now that I've read that, because he delivered the Israelites out of trouble, not too unlike how Moses had to. I wonder why there's not more information on Othniel, at least in this version of the Bible. Ehud. Then the Israelites once more did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord strengthened King Eglon of Moab against Israel, because they had done what was evil in the sight of the Lord. Eglon joined forces with the Ammonites and Amalekites, and then he went and attacked Israel and took possession of the city of palms. The Israelites served King Eglon of Moab for 18 years. Then the Israelites cried out to the Lord, and the Lord raised up a deliverer. Okay, another one. Ehud, son of Jerah, the Benjamite, a left-handed man. I wonder why it's specified that he's left-handed. But so here's the third. And there's more, I'm sure, but constantly the Israelites are disobeying what the Lord is asking of them. He punishes them. They ask for forgiveness, and he does consistently, meaning God, send help to them. That's an interesting lesson. Infinite forgiveness. Forgiveness is something I have a very difficult time with. I've forgiven more over the past few years than I ever have, and I'm still working on it. But that's how I know God is good. Good people forgive. Because it's one of the hardest things to do. Good beings forgive. All right, where are we? The Israelites sent a tribute payment by him to King Eglon, or Eglon of Moab. Ehud made a cubit-long, two-edged sword for himself and strapped it onto his right thigh under his cloak. He brought the tribute payment to King Eglon of Moab. Now Eglon was a very fat man. When Ehud finished offering the tribute payment, he sent away the people who carried it, but he himself turned back from the stone idols that were at Gilgal and said, I have a secret message for you, O king. And he said, Keep silence. And all who attended him departed from him. Ehud approached him as he was sitting alone in his cool upper chamber. Ehud said, I have a message from God for you. And Eglon rose from his seat. Then Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the belly of Eglon. Ooh. The hilt went in after the blade, and the fat closed over the blade, and his entrails came out. For he did not pull the sword out of the belly of Eglon. Then Ehud went out to the entrance hall, and closed the doors of the upper chamber on him. and locked them. When he went out, the servants of Eglon came. They looked and noticed the doors of the upper chamber were locked. They thought, "Surely he is attending to his needs in the cool chamber." They waited until they were ashamed, but he still did not open the doors of the upper chamber. So they took a key and opened it. There, fallen dead on the floor, was their Lord. Interesting they used the word Lord there, because he wasn't a lord, he was a king. He was just a man. Yet Ehud escaped while they were waiting. So Ehud was an assassin. He passed the sacred stones and escaped to Seirah. Upon his arrival, he blew a ram's horn trumpet in the hill country of Ephraim. Then the Israelites went down with him from the hill country, and he led them. He said to them, "Follow me, for the Lord has given your enemies, the Moabites, into your hands." They followed him, and they captured the Jordan fords leading to Moab. They did not let anyone cross. They struck down about 10,000 Moabites, all strong and valorous men, and not a single man escaped. So Moab was humbled under the hand of Israel that day, and the land had peace for 80 years. Shamgar. After Ehud was Shamgar, son of Anath. He struck down 600 Philistine men with an ox goad. He also saved Israel. Well, these were some badasses that God created to deliver his people out of trouble after they got themselves into trouble by not doing as they're told by God. Goes to show God will send you a hero, but maybe you don't need the hero if you save yourself and you listen to God to begin with, huh? I guess that's the lesson of the day, which I will take to heart. Sometimes I feel like I need a hero. I'm my own hero for the most part. Heroine, because I'm a woman. But yeah, I save myself. So anyway, have a great day. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.